After Birkin's fight with the Nemesis ended, the Nemesis decided to continue his search for Jill Valentine and Carlos Oliveira. He managed to find them and infect Jill, and fortunately for her, Carlos did an outstanding job protecting her and even managed to find a cure for the infection she received from the Nemesis. He was even capable of further damaging the Nemesis while Jill was unconscious. But now that the Nemesis has received further injuries, the parasite in his DNA continues to mutate his body in order to enhance his abilities. He cannot heal or regenerate from any injuries, which explains why he had to stitch his own eye, but he will be capable of sustaining the same amount of damage inflicted on him. And as the Nemesis continues to destroy areas of the clock tower, this gives away his location to Birkin. And now that Birkin has found his arch rival, the Nemesis, he can finally get the rematch he's been dying for. Birkin steps down in front of Nemesis, revealing that he's mutated and become much stronger than before, but the Nemesis shows no fear towards his opponent and prepares to crush Birkin with everything he's got. Birkin and Nemesis are face to face, waiting for the first one to strike. The ground begins to shake, crows abandon the trees, even centipedes crawl out of the dirt, and the ground crumbles as both brutes leap towards each other. But it wasn't the intensity and strength of Birkin and the Nemesis that caused the ground to shake. It was in fact the Gravedigger, and the tremendous creature's presence and interruption causes no effect to either one of them, and they begin with the rematch. Both Birkin and Nemesis land a powerful strike on each other. Nemesis got punctured right above this stitched eye, and he laid a powerful punch on Birkin's torso. The Gravedigger attacks the closest prey, which is Birkin, and it swallows him whole after he was pushed back by his opponent's strike. But the Nemesis isn't through with his opponent as the fight has just begun, so he attacks the Gravedigger by crushing its inner teeth and leaps inside the Gravedigger's mouth. Right away he finds Birkin and continues their fight, and as they proceed with their fight inside the Gravedigger, a helicopter owned by Umbrella flies nearby, and it appears to be the senior executive of Umbrella himself. Even the bald executive is on board, as their reason for being there is to simply spectate the fight between Birkin and the Nemesis. We then see that tentacles are ripping through the Gravedigger's body from the inside, and both the Nemesis and Birkin tear themselves out of the Gravedigger's body. But all this still wasn't enough to bring it down, and it proceeds to interrupt their fight. Only this time, the Nemesis has had enough, and as soon as the Gravedigger closes in on him, he lands a powerful hit on the towering creature and proceeds to land countless heavy blows on the Gravedigger. Even Birkin jumps in at the opportunity to remove this immeasurable indignation. But this does not stop them from killing each other, as every strike performed is meant to inflict damage on anything surrounding them. This creates an immense whirlwind which causes the helicopter to nearly crash, but Birkin and Nemesis continue to thrust heavy attacks onto one another. Birkin grabs Nemesis by his head and slams him into the ground, then continues to strike the Nemesis while he's down, all while the Gravedigger is being completely demolished by the forces of two deadly brutes that are trying everything to kill each other. Every attack that misses easily lands on the Gravedigger, and nothing is able to stop them from brutally beating each other down. The bald executive is surprised to see just how much destruction they've caused, and still continue to collide with one another. They then proceed to strike with fiercer attacks. Birkin swings his oversized arms, slicing anything in its way, and Nemesis uses his tentacle whips to slash through its surroundings. This completely annihilates the Gravedigger, cutting it into pieces, and finally getting this tremendous creature out of their way. After the blood and smoke clears, it is revealed that the Nemesis managed to tear Birkin's enormous arms off, and Birkin managed to slice off almost every tentacle whip surrounding the Nemesis. But they still refuse to give up. The bald executive is overjoyed to see both brutes obliterate each other, awaiting to see them tear each other down to shreds. The senior executive is pleased with the results, but they possess too much power, and this could be a problem if they cannot be controlled. As both Birkin and the Nemesis continue to fight, the bald executive is given orders by his superior to try and command the Nemesis to execute his opponent immediately. The Nemesis receives this command, and in the split of a second, he tightly grabs onto Birkin's wrists, gains enough strength to thrust kick Birkin while completely tearing his arms off, leaving him extremely defenseless. Birkin is left gushing with blood, and yet the Nemesis continues to pulverize him with one punch after another. But when it's time to land the final hit, he not only strikes Birkin with a powerful punch, but he also unleashes additional tentacles from his arm which tear Birkin into pieces. The senior executive immediately orders the pilot to shoot down the Nemesis, as he believes that even though they are capable of giving him orders, he will surely defy them once he finds out that they're the ones responsible for what's become of him. They land many shots on him and he's about to flee the area, but a much better action occurs to him and he decides to face the chopper, jump towards it, and use his arm tentacles to grab onto it and bring it down. This successfully works, and the chopper crashes onto the floor, killing the pilot and the woman sitting next to the senior executive. He, along with the bald executive, managed to survive the crash, but not for long, as the Nemesis approaches the helicopter, tears through the locked door, and faces the bald executive, who is utterly frightened and unable to command the Nemesis to spare him. But even if he tried to give him that order, there is no way that he could possibly spare this man's life, as he was the one who took his family away from him and turned him into another test subject for Umbrella. He killed his wife and child in front of him. He laughed and took pleasure of injecting them with the T-virus just to have them quickly turn into a zombie and instantly get shot with multiple rounds. He grabs the bald executive and slowly proceeds to bite his head clean off, finally avenging the death of his wife and child. Surprisingly, the senior executive showed no signs of emotion towards what just happened. After everything he's seen here, he isn't terrified at all. He does not even move from his seat, even when the Nemesis is now facing him. It is unsure whether he does not fear death or he was hoping for those results. But suddenly, it appears that Birkin isn't down and he actually managed to mutate yet again. He attacks Nemesis from behind and tosses him aside. This time, the senior executive stands up and faces Birkin in his fourth mutation. Did Birkin just save his life? Or is he planning on infecting the senior executive the same way he infected Ben the reporter? We'll find out next time when Birkin and the Nemesis continue their fight in a third round. And with that said, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, be sure to leave a like, share with others, and subscribe if you haven't. And if you'd like to see some extra content, or you'd like to see your name at the end of the videos, then feel free to support the channel by donating a single dollar to my Patreon. There are also additional perks for donating more than $1. The link is on the description, along with the link to my Facebook page, Tumblr, DeviantArt, and Twitter. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.